Do you want to raise more money for your nonprofit? Well, it all starts with telling your nonprofit story. Stick to the end of this video where I go through 4 tips to do nonprofit storytelling better. Hi, I'm Kelly, the nonprofit strategy nerd, and I help nonprofit leaders create an organization and life of intention, ease, and incredible impact. Now, if you haven't already, make sure to subscribe below so you can get weekly videos from me to you so that you can move your nonprofit forward. Today we'll be going through 4 S strategies you can use to tell your nonprofit story better. And you might say, I don't have enough time to do that. If you don't have enough time, make sure to watch this video about how to gain 10 hours back in your nonprofit leadership work week. Each week, 10 hours. And hopefully with that 10 hours, you can do those needle moving things you need to do, such as tell your nonprofit story better using these 4 S nonprofit storytelling secret sauces. Secret sauce number 1. When you are telling your nonprofit story, you need to be specific. Now, I get solicitation letters from nonprofits from all over the world all the time, and the thing that makes me want to cry is when they decide to just be very generic. We serve lots of people and provide women housing, and that's what we do is provide women housing, and with your generous support, we can provide more women housing. Versus specific. If I got that same letter and it said, now let me tell you about Susie. Susie came to us when she hadn't had permanent housing in over 2 years, and she was living place to place. And actually when she walked in the door to our homeless shelter, I still remember her face. Susie looked down, didn't make eye contact, and her head hung low. Now we'll tell you a little bit more about Susie and my other secret sauce tips on how to finish that story, but it needs to start with specifics. If I were writing that as a solicitation letter, I would probably also include what Susie was wearing when she walked in the door, anything visual in terms of her disposition, and maybe even the date and like what the weather was like that day. So something specific. And with that storytelling secret sauce number 1, I was a writing major, so I spent, it's good for something. So I was like, I'm either going to be a professor or a lawyer, or a waitress. Well, I ended up here talking to you, so a little bit of a pivot. But one of the things I did learn from studying philosophy and English writing for 4 years is a rule for creative writing, which is only through the specific does something become universalizable. Only through the specific does something become universalizable. And I hope you hold that with you as you go about sharing your nonprofit's story. And the second secret sauce ingredient for nonprofit storytelling is to be sensory. Whenever you're telling your nonprofit story, try to talk about sight, smell, touch. I was going to say scent. That's the same thing. Sight, smell, touch, taste, sound, whatever the 5 senses are. Make sure to ground your stories in at least one sensory experience. I like to ground it in the sensory experience that changes. And something changes with the revelation or success. And I'll talk about that in the next secret sauce. But make sure to make it sensory. This is an easy way, if you're not a great writer or professional writer, to help paint a picture. And really what you're doing with your nonprofit storytelling is trying to get people to feel like they are there. So you're painting a picture of an experience and a change in someone's life most of the time. So that is the second secret sauce. And the third secret sauce is to follow storytelling narrative structure. So when you follow storytelling narrative structure, there needs to be a beginning, a middle that includes an intervention and transition, and an end. And so you're, no matter what, even if it's like 3 sentences on a Facebook post or a video, you need to really understand the beginning and the end so you can really see the transformation. And when you do nonprofit storytelling, that middle really needs to be your intervention with the client, them coming to you for services, a moment of change in your relationship with that client or person. So again, it needs to follow a storytelling narrative. And feel free to Google more about that if you need to. I'm not going to give you all the tips on that one, but I am going to go ahead and share with you right now my final nonprofit storytelling secret sauce ingredient. And my personal favorite that I think I talk to my clients to the most is to share success. And you might be confused, and I work with a lot of organizations that serve, I would say, the most at risk or the most in need. And often what we say is, well, we didn't see success. Like, we don't have any success stories. And as nonprofits, we need to go easy on ourselves, go easy on our clients. And when you are sharing success, chances are your job is not devastation after devastation after devastation. There's something that sparks joy for you in the work you do. And the success you're sharing with nonprofit storytelling are those little moments of joy that you get from interacting with a client, from seeing them take a successful step forward. So when you're talking about sharing your nonprofit story, often we want to talk about the grand things, but there can be success in moments. And if you can capture success correctly with narrative structure and sensory and being specific, you can get donors, volunteers, other clients to really understand your impact. Again, it doesn't have to be entire transformation to be success. It just needs to be a step towards whatever your mission and vision is. It doesn't need to be the end of your vision, or you can't share it. So I do encourage you in nonprofit storytelling to not continually only share big life pivots and big life transitions, but share those small wins, those moments of success. So just to repeat again, nonprofit secret sauce, 4 secret sauces. 1, be specific. 2, follow sensory, use sensory descriptors. 3, follow this nonprofit storytelling narrative. And finally, number 4 is to focus on success. Again, my name is Kelly. I am the nonprofit strategy nerd and your nonprofit BFF. Remember, you do not have to do this alone. So go ahead and subscribe below, and I'll see you next Thursday.